Hi, everybody, it's Josh. I am here with my review of Dune Part 2, directed by Denis Villeneuve, and a follow up to his original Dune adaptation. These, of course, are not so much remakes of the David Lynch film from the 80s as they are new, fresh adaptations of the Frank Herbert books. I am not a Dune fan, and in fact, I would say that coming into these movies, I am someone who finds the source material kind of boring and dense and unexciting. I do like to read a fantasy novel or a science fiction novel from time to time, and I understand that people quite enjoy the Dune books. But my only brush with them was an attempt to watch the Lynch movie when I was probably too young to do so, and I found it very strange. I've come to appreciate that movie for what it is, even though it is very flawed. And its biggest flaw is the storytelling. And many would say that that's one of the great triumphs of these new adaptations. I think I would say, first and foremost, it's the filmmaking and the visuals. Denis Villeneuve is one of my favorite auteur directors from a visual standpoint. The stuff that he makes is beautiful. He hasn't made a movie that was unremarkable visually. I have, to some extent, enjoyed everything that he has done. Having established that, I guess I would say that these Dune movies are maybe towards the bottom of my Villeneuve rankings, but everything on the list is strong, and I really like these movies. And I'm still processing this new one. A lot of people are praising this part two for actually having a plot, whereas the first one set up so much of the world and the houses and the mythology and the lore and the religion and all those things that are flying around in these stories. But I don't know. I really enjoyed the first movie and the way that it set up a world and established all the different kind of peoples and places. And I feel like in Dune 2, yes, the plot really gets moving and things really start to happen, and there's not a lot of origin material, there's a lot of plot. But I feel like the whole movie is kind of in the desert with the Fremen and then with the Harkonnens and the Emperor. There's only two kind of worlds going on, two kind of environments, whereas I felt like the first movie had a little more going on. I don't know. But in the domain of PG-13, IP-driven, blockbuster, must-see IMAX movies, you could do a whole lot worse than these Dune films. They are spectacular. There are things that you will see in this movie that it occurred to me recently how commonplace it has become to just see astonishing things in movies, things that would have blown our minds 20 years ago, and now I don't want to say they're commonplace, because bad special effects are still more prevalent than good special effects, and bad CG effects are the worst of all, and that's what we get most of the time. But I'm thinking of the characters flying on the backs of Ikron in the Avatar movies, or in the Dune movies, it's the worms, the visual of the worms, who were present in the first movie and very impressive there. But here we have characters riding on the back. We see Timothée Chalamet is Paul Atreides, and his house has fallen, and he's fled to the desert with the Fremen people, and these are the desert dwellers, and he's, maybe he is their messiah, maybe he's not. And one of the things he does to prove himself is he learns to harness and ride one of these worms. This is what the Fremen do all the time, we come to find out. It's kind of like a mass transit system for them, but for someone not born of their people to be able to do this is significant. And the effect of this happening, these enormous worms, you've got a combination of CG and practical effects that is extraordinary. And again, this is what Denis Villeneuve really excels at, is what he does, but with this enormous budget. He made a lot of small budget movies like Prisoners and Enemy look amazing. And now he's proving what he can do with a gigantic budget, and it truly is extraordinary. I think that I am wearying overall of epic battles in movies, when you have just walls of soldiers running towards each other and giant beasts and things, and I really have had my fill of that probably since Lord of the Rings. I think Lord of the Rings kind of filled me up, and I was like, okay, I'm done. But again, for what it is, for an epic science fiction blockbuster based on really old, dense, IP, you're not going to do any better in the visuals department. There is really fascinating stuff going on here with the treatment of religion, and how religion works, and how messianic prophecies work, and how clergy that work for different factions and have different interests, how that all works out. It has things to say about that, and that's interesting. But this is just not my franchise. And yet I'm still enthusiastic about it because the filmmaking is extraordinary. This has been a very disorganized review. I hope this is coherent when I attempt to edit it together. Dune Part 2 is in theaters. See it on a big screen if you want to. You don't have to. There's lots of other stuff to see. Go see Perfect Days. That's probably the best movie that's still out right now. Hopefully it's still out there. Quick shout out to the rest of the cast. The amazing Rebecca Ferguson, Zendaya, of course. Josh Brolin is back. Javier Bardem. Christopher Walken and Austin Butler joined the cast this time. Florence Pugh joins the cast this time too. She's always great. A lot of interesting people doing interesting work in an interesting movie. That's right. I'm the critic who calls movies interesting. Like and subscribe. I'll be back soon with a new short and more movie reviews, maybe some sketchy art videos. I don't get to make as many of those as I would like, but I think I'll be coming at you with a few of those soon if things go my way. Thank you so much for watching. I am supported by Patreon. You can see the link at the end of the video or in the description. Just a small pledge helps me keep the lights on here at the channel, and helps me keep the videos coming. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Josh out. Okay, I'm talking to the people.